Hello, everybody. It's Mari-Lyn Harris here of Heart of Work, and I'm just doing a little presentation today about uh, living well. And as I'm doing this work, the more I realize it's more about self-care. I mean, self-care to the very end. So sometimes we think that we're going to put it off because it's too soon to work on our stuff already, or what we're going to do, what we want to have at the end of our lives and our end of our businesses. But it's all part of life. And I picked up this book called Living is Dying: How to Prepare for Death and Dying and Beyond. It's mostly based on Buddhism, but the idea is that we're all dying and we're all living at the same time. So anyway, I hope that you'll enjoy my presentation. There might be a few people joining us, but otherwise I'm just going to carry on and just wait a minute for anybody that's going to pop in. And please introduce yourself in the chat box if you're joining us. And yeah, enjoy the presentation. I'm just recording it so that it's always going to be available if somebody wants to watch it and learn a little bit more of how to get started, because that's the biggest challenge, right? Is getting started. Yeah, I had somebody ask me one day, for all the work that you're doing, Mari-Lyn, have you done your work? I says, of course. I says, otherwise I would be incongruent with what I'm trying, my message is about, right? So you have to lead by example, I guess that would be the thing. So I'm going to share my screen, and that's the presentation I'm going to go through. And yeah, so if you have any questions, please put them in the chat box, or because everybody will be muted. So by all means, put it in the chat box and let me know if you have any questions or concerns. And my intention of doing this is just to really help people get started right away at whatever you're capable of doing, so that you don't leave a mess at the end for somebody else to pick up and clean up for you because you thought that was too soon to work on it. It's never too soon to work on anything. So it's how to plan, how to live well, and how not to leave a mess. So let me just kind of get started. It is now 10 o'clock. And so let me go to the next screen. I guess it didn't, I didn't get to work that way. Okay. Okay, just a message to say thank you for joining me today, if you're on the call. And about myself, well, I'm an end-of-life doula and a life coach, and some days I'm trying to figure out what am I doing really. So my focus is more about getting people who are retiring out or who are ready to take this step to put together their paperwork, get it together. It's not that hard, but the challenge is, I know I need to do it, but I haven't done it yet. And what's the holdup? I don't know. So each of us have our own excuses. So anyway, so welcome. And I've been a doula for a very short time. I've only served a couple of clients, but I know that as a life coach and helping people take care of their self first is always the most important key point. I realized that when I've been doing the kindness, delivering the messages about kindness in business and in itself, it's all about self-care, and this is just a step in self-care. So how can we live well now? As I was saying, it always seems too soon until it's too late. I think most of us have saw how many people are dying still from COVID, or through the last couple of years of COVID. We got to see how many times it was oh my gosh, no plans were set aside. So I would like to cover today the health directives, which are really like your and power attorney, writing obituary, a notice of death, your forgiveness work. If you have a business, who's taking over? What's your exit strategy? If you have any social media accounts, I'm sure we all do. We have Facebook, LinkedIn, and all the major ones. And then what's your next step? What can you do next? So health directives and living will, power attorney, or health proxy are all mean the same thing. Health directives is just really 5 steps you need to do to write out. And whether you take them from your healthcare provider or whether you go online and create your own, there's lots of ways of writing out your health directives. A living will is the same thing. It's just really, you need to think about your values and what wishes you want to have people speak on your behalf, because really what they are doing is when you are unable to a certain point in your journey, if you get sick or you're in an accident, they speak up for you if you are unable to tell the medical team or the care team what your wishes are. So it's a medical form. It's not yes, it is a legal form. You have to submit it to your healthcare provider so they know what your wishes are. But other than that, it's not per se a legal form. Legal, I'm meaning in the idea of law. So your health directives, living will, power attorney, or health proxy means all the same thing. It just, people use the words very fluently. So let's talk about writing an obituary and your eulogy. An obituary is just simply an announcement. Oops, that went too far. Writing obituary is really meaning that you are writing out something that you would like people to know about you. Maybe it's writing about, who you've left behind. Maybe your friends or family you would like to acknowledge. Maybe it's people that have gone before you, you would like to acknowledge them too. And then your eulogy is when you really think about how you want to be remembered. You probably would assign somebody to speak for you at your service, whether it's you or, well, obviously you're not going to speak for you on you, but maybe you would have a friend or somebody close to you read it out for you, but you prepare it. And, or, somebody, if you haven't done that yet, then somebody will say a few words about you. So that's what the obituary and the eulogy is about. Forgiveness. Forgiveness. Forgiveness is so important in order to have a peaceful and a holistic death. If you are unable to forgive people who have done you wrong, you're doing it for yourself. You're not just doing it for somebody else. I think I've shared this story before. My mother was bullied a lot, I guess, by her cousins when she was younger. And when she was given a terminal diagnosis, I asked her, is there anybody she needs to forgive? And she says, well, she has some cousins, but she's never going to forgive them. I said, well, Mom, you're not forgiving them for them. You're forgiving them for you, so that you have released that energetic attachment to them teasing you or bullying you. I myself have had people call me and say, would you please forgive me? I was the one that bullied you extensively, and I am calling to apologize, and would you please forgive me? well, okay, I forgive them because obviously I don't remember anymore. I'm an adult. I've forgotten. But those are so important for the person who's, either saying it to the other person, or you just write a letter about forgiveness. I forgive, blah, 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 and for blah, 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 and sign and date it. And you don't even have to mail it to them. You can just burn it up. But it's the idea is that you are forgiving them. Or you can sit down, and I did this the other day. I started writing all the people that I need to forgive, and mostly the forgiveness was really for myself. Forgiving myself for making the wrong decisions, forgiving myself for not being on top of things or paying attention to what other people say that is more important than what I value or what my wishes are. So yeah, just think about who you need to forgive. And most of the time it's for ourselves, and it's only for ourselves that we do the forgiveness. It's all part of the process of end of life. When you do your life review, you might think of somebody, oh, my daughter or son, we haven't had a great relationship. I really would like to see them before I go. And I would like to let them know that I'm asking for their forgiveness, or I am forgiving them. So it's really important to do the forgiveness work. I mean, yeah, it's really important to do the forgiveness work. Okay, our next topic is the exit strategy. Now you can talk this about exit strategy about yourself too. I mean, we as a personal exit strategy, how are you, because there's so many options now. We're all going to die. I get that. But you can choose to do MAID, which is medically assisted suicide. There is also, maybe you die in a car crash, or maybe you do suicide. I'm not suggesting that, but there are lots of exit strategies on a personal note. But in a business, if you have a business, who is taking over for you when you leave, or when you're not able, or you're unable to run the business yourself? Who is going to take over? I know when my dad died, he had a business and it was very strong, and he left it to my other siblings, left me out of it. But the idea is, at least he handed it over to somebody, and it's up to them to keep it growing to his wishes, to what he wanted. And so for an exit strategy for your business is, you have to think about, who do you want to take over? Like, for example, the Marshall, the guy that I did his administration for after he died, he wanted the business to be passed on to somebody else, and that somebody else said, I don't want it. I told him I'd help him, but I have my own business. So you have to make sure that they want to take over your business and not. So we ended up closing all the businesses because there was nobody appointed except for him, and he didn't want it. So you really have to think about the game plan of who is going to take over, who is going to administer your affairs, who's going to administer your business affairs. So those are two very important things. Okay, and there's social media accounts. Yeah, we all have them. We have Facebook, we have LinkedIn, and how many others? I mean, I think I have a list of 170 some social accounts or business accounts with something. So I think the idea, whether you are, whenever you are in your business or in your life or wherever you are, however young you are, how old you are, is go through all your accounts and think about, do I really use them? And eliminate them, cancel them. And the other thing you could do with your social media accounts, rather than having a piece of paper written down and you go online, you add on, or you have them saved somewhere, get one pass or something like that, that allows you to put all your social media online with one pass. So one pass, really what it does is you only need one password to access all your social media accounts. So that's one way of doing it. The other way is to have a list and pass it on to your executors or administrators you've chosen to take over for you, or when you can't speak for yourself or do for yourself. So that's social media accounts is in itself a whole different course. But the idea of it is that you have to think about, who do you still use? Are they important? And if so, keep them. And change your passwords often. Don't wait a year or two. Change them every 6 months. And I suggest you change your passwords every 6 months. You're going to go like, oh my God, how am I going to do all that? And that's why the one password or those software tools that you can use to change all your passwords are in this umbrella. There's another company coming up with something similar to that, but I'm meeting with them, but I don't know all the details yet. So there's lots of online accounts that you could store all your information in the cloud, and then it's accessible to whenever you need it. So do that. Just be very selective of who you choose. So social media accounts, yeah. It's time to start cleaning them up, changing your password, deleting them if you no longer use them, and don't be afraid to delete them, because you can always create another one if you want to. Okay. So next steps for you. I have a little ebook that lists some of the steps, and then I have other things that you can look at doing. So the most important thing is to keep the conversation going about your wishes to your family and friends. That's number one. Is we're so scared of talking about dying and death, but it's all part of life. And so just keep the conversation going so that your family and friends know what your wishes are, and be sure that you have them written down. And estate planning. So back to advanced directives. If you go to advanceddirectives.com, they list all the state requirements. So if you just go to that one website, you can go there and get the information. And it's all there for the USA. Now for Canada, they have a thing called legalwills.ca, or living wills they call it, and it's end of life law. So just look it up online. I from what the information I gather in Canada is that basically the health providers, some of them provide it to you and some do not. So, but I trust that you will look it up and find the right forms for it. And then another friend of mine told me that it's called advanced care planning in Canada. So there's lots of sites regarding that topic as well. Estate planning. I have on my website a resource bank of people I trust that I like to work with, and it's under heartatworkonline.org. And plus I have other people for estate planning I can refer you to. I don't do estate planning. I just help people get started in making their exit strategy together. And then legacy planning. Legacy planning is where you think about what kind of legacy you want to leave behind so people remember you by. So, I mean, you could do a video, a film. I have a friend that does videos, life legacies they're called, and he can help you with that. you could do, like I said, a video, or you could tell a story or have somebody tell a story and do a video, or you can tell your own story through videos, and so that they are shared with their family members, or if it's a personal legacy like that. Legacy planning could also mean you have a trust, and that you've created maybe a nonprofit, and you want that to be carried on by somebody, and you have a team that's running that. So that's your legacy of what you've left behind, and have somebody keep running it for you. So there's lots of things about legacy planning. I do have a book about that. I'm just waiting for my friend to finish editing it so that I can get it printed, but that'll probably be out in a couple of months or so. And creating remembrances for loved ones. It's a great idea if you even write up a bunch of cards and have them wishing them happy birthdays or their anniversaries or the weddings. Maybe you insert a gift card in there for them, or you send them a video whenever there's that special time, the special date. So you can do things like that that are creating remembrances for loved ones, so that, you know, even if you just did it for the first year, then they're not that they're ever going to forget you, because the memories they have with you or had with you will always be with them. You will always be connected to them. But sometimes creating remembrances for loved ones is a special touch, special gift of kindness, you know, or maybe you have set aside some money and you donate it in their name. So there's lots of different ways that you can create remembrances for your loved ones. Creating your funeral plans. Well, that's not an exciting one, but it's something you need to put some thought into. Have you attended funerals that you liked, and maybe you like to copy them and incorporate them into your funeral plan? Maybe you have a party, a roast before you go, or maybe you decide you want everybody to gather together and help celebrate your end of life, that they have a party. Or maybe you just want to be ashes spread quietly somewhere. Or maybe you want to investigate in being, your cremations are planted in the forest. So there's lots of different options for creating your funeral plans. But do think about some ideas that you like and start writing them down. And then you can put it into your trust, or your living will, or your living trust. Do you need supportive assistance? Maybe you got a diagnosis that is terminal. What are you going to do? So maybe you need to hire supportive assistance to help you. So, you know, that might be your next step in your journey right now. Who's on your care team? Maybe you've selected a few people, that neighbors, friends, that are on your care team. The other thing I suggested, I didn't put it on here, was creating the care team. Could also be a list of friends that you know, they all care for you, and they want to know what's happening, what's going on in your life. And there be a group of people, I mean, put your executors on that list, certainly. And then have somebody point it that, if, you know, if I need help, then I would say, can so-and-so, can you tell everybody, blah, blah, blah. And then they can either say, okay, I can do this, or I can do that, or I can't help right now, or whatever. But you know, you want to have a group of people with their names, phone numbers, and emails on there of who you want on your care team. And please ask people before you add them to your care team. You know, I've had a couple of people on my care team. They said, well, I don't be on your care team. I'm like, okay, I'll just take you off. No problem. So You can also sign up for my newsletter. The form is there. What happens is that every time I write an article, it goes on my website and it's sent out to you on a weekly basis. I'm also have written and put together my newsletter by mail. That'll go out by the end of July. So if you're interested, you know, I have a form on the website you can fill out and let me know if you want a mailed newsletter. If you want any other information from me or you want to make an appointment, please get in touch with me. I do offer a 30-minute free consulting call. And then after that, any coaching or support you need beyond that, obviously there's a fee attached to that. And please join my Facebook group. It's called where we support each other and where we can ask for help. It's called Life's Transformation. It's I couldn't get transitions, but so I got transformation. It's really about, you know, if you want to ask questions, you want to know what's going on, what other workshops I may put together and offer. And yeah, so that's it for today. But thank you very much for joining me. For my appointments, just go to my booking agent and book an appointment. Go to my website. You'll find lots of resources and information there where you can sign up and get the free ebook about 12 tips so you can prevent a mess. And thank you so much for joining me. And this work class will be available after it's processed. Okay, thank you so much. Let me do a stop share. So thank you everybody for joining me and have a wonderful day and take care of yourself because that's all there is. It's just yourself. Okay, thank you.